It's been almost 4 months since Gabriel Martinelli first suffered the knee injury that sidelined him for the rest of last season and the beginning of this one. And yet, due to the coronavirus pandemic, it's now been over 9 months since the Brazilian last played in the red and white of Arsenal. There's no doubt that Martinelli's injury has been a setback for the Brazilian forward, who is having a faultless first season at the club. However, much like the story of his young career, Martinelli has never let minor setbacks get in his way. His success is built on a foundation of both talent and work ethic. For a young man who was rejected by both Manchester United and Barcelona, it was his determination and mental toughness that helped him overcome those setbacks. For a kid who was playing in the 4th league in Brazil just a few years ago, he has now established himself as one of the best prospects in the Premier League. With 10 goals and 4 assists in all competitions last season, the youngster has shown he is one for the future. Those who have worked with Martinelli believe he could reach extraordinary heights both at Arsenal and Brazil. Much like Arsenal itself, his future is bright, and under Arteta, there's no doubt he's destined for greatness. Martinelli was born in the suburbs of Sao Paulo, Brazil. Like many Brazilians, his first experiences in football came from playing on the street. Martinelli began his career on the futsal court. In fact, he was playing futsal when he was first discovered by Corinthians scouts. He was then immediately recruited to the illustrious Corinthians Academy that has produced various talents throughout the years. However, after a few years at Corinthians, Martinelli's family moved away from Sao Paulo. Martinelli had to make the choice between remaining in Sao Paulo or moving to the small town of Itu with his family. Martinelli chose to move with his family and began playing for local team Itanho. It was at Itanho where Martinelli's career blossomed. He bagged 64 goals in 94 games across various age groups, including a memorable hat-trick against his old club Corinthians in an under-17 game. While his talent was obvious, it was Martinelli's work ethic and ambition that impressed his coaches. According to Luiz Antonio, Martinelli's coach at under-15, under-17, and under-20 level, Martinelli set himself apart from other players with his intensity during training. Furthermore, those who have worked with Martinelli know that he is just as committed to his dream off the field as much as on it. Martinelli lives a quiet life. He goes to bed early, doesn't drink, and has maintained a strict diet throughout his career. Martinelli is too ambitious to let anything get in the way of achieving his goals. The Brazilian knows success comes with sacrifices. Sacrifices he's always been willing to make throughout his young career. Martinelli would first arrive in England in 2015 when the young forward went on trial with Manchester United. In fact, he had been invited to train with Man United on 4 separate occasions between 2015 and 2017. Despite showing promise, Man United never offered the Brazilian a contract. In time, Martinelli would return to Brazil and make his first team debut at Itanho in 2018 at the age of 17. Despite the fact Itanho played in the 4th division in Brazil, Martinelli was gaining various admirers across the nation. Francis Cagagao, the ex-Arsenal super scout, had heard whispers about a promising forward in the Brazilian 4th league. He traveled to Itanho to watch Martinelli in person and was blown away by the Brazilian's work rate. Cagagao would continue to follow Martinelli's progress throughout the 2018-2019 season, and the following summer, Arsenal signed the youngster. When Martinelli first signed in the summer of 2019, many Arsenal fans didn't know what to expect. The arrivals of Nicolas Pepe, Dani Ceballos, and Kieran Tierney far outshined the arrival of Martinelli. After all, the Brazilian was relatively unknown amongst football fans, having played all of his football in the Brazilian 4th division. Martinelli joined Unai Emery's side for pre-season, and it was there where he instantly began to impress. After catching the eye in pre-season, he burst onto the competitive scene with 2 goals on his first start against Nottingham Forest. It was that game when Arsenal fans first started to take notice of the Brazilian forward, but it wasn't until the Chelsea game last January where the world started to take notice of Gabriel Martinelli. You can't tell the story of Martinelli without telling the story of that Chelsea game. On January 21st, Arsenal travelled to Stamford Bridge to take on Chelsea for the second time of the Mikel Arteta reign. The game started quite evenly, and it wasn't until David Luiz was sent off for bringing down Tammy Abraham in the box where Chelsea started to dominate. For the rest of the first half and the beginning of the second, Arsenal were under the cosh. With 10 men and 1-0 down, Arsenal sat back and looked to counter. It wasn't until the 62nd minute when Chelsea had a corner cleared by Mustafi where Gabriel Martinelli picked up the ball in his own half and made history. Martinelli sprinted 67 yards in 13 seconds to score what was Arsenal's most spectacular goal of their entire campaign. Although the game finished 2-2, that goal will always be remembered as the time Martinelli announced himself to the footballing world. Listen to what Mikel Arteta had to say about the Brazilian in his post-match press conference.
Martinelli looks a natural finisher. He's 18 and he's scoring goals like that. There's not many kids of that age that score goals like that.
No, and to play in this stadium the way he's done, and with 10 men, and play against Azpilicueta, which, from my opinion, is one of the best defenders in the league, and he was going against him every single time. You need courage, to do that, and then his energy is. I wanted to take him off a few times because he looked knackered, he was cramping, and next minute he's sprinting 60 yards again.
For a player who was playing in Brazil's 4th league just over a year and a half ago, Martinelli has surpassed all expectations at Arsenal. While he has still much to learn in English football, the early signs suggest that Arsenal have a gem on their hands. Martinelli still needs to put in the work, but work is where he shines. Even in lockdown, Martinelli used the time to put on muscle, lifting weights and working out in his own living room. While the restart didn't exactly go to plan for Martinelli, as the Brazilian was injured in training, there's no doubt he will come back even stronger. As his return nears, I have no doubt that the Brazilian forward will pick up right where he left off. While the greats of football are remembered for their talent, the elites are remembered for their work ethic. Martinelli has both, and there's no doubt if he continues at this rate, he is a future Arsenal star in the making. Don't forget about Gabriel Martinelli. Others have, and have been made foolish for it.